Alright, hey guys, so I'm going to go ahead and show you everything that I used for this video. So the first thing I did get was some disposable gloves from Walmart, just the Great Value brand because I'm going to be throwing them away anyway, and you did get 10 in there by the way. Then I used the Adore dye in Intense Red and Wild Cherry and Crimson. And then I have my wig from MyDiva hair and it's in 16 inches and it's already 613. Okay, so first I'm gonna go ahead and just put on my gloves, and I had already put the water in the pot. As you can see, it's already boiling, steaming. And so the first thing I did was try to squeeze the dye out, but nobody told me that there was a seal on it. Not that anyone had to tell me, but take the seal off and then go ahead and put the cap back on and you can squeeze it in. I'm going in with Crimson first since it is the lighter color. And then I'm taking my wide tooth comb, which I forgot to show you guys that I am using to mix it around. And I also did do the paper towel method. I dipped it in and it was like some lightish pink color. So I ended up going in and putting more crimson in there. Since the pie is black, I couldn't really see what I was working with. So it was kind of like a blind test. So I took the paper towel again to see if it made it any better. And it didn't. So I was like, let me just try the hair because this is not working out for me. So I took a small piece of the hair and dipped it in there to see if it was worthwhile. And I took it out and I did end up liking the color. It was bright red, but I did go ahead and just put the entire wig in there. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I didn't dip the frontal part of the wig in there just yet, mainly because I was scared. Even though everyone says it doesn't tint the lace, I just didn't want to take any chances, even though eventually I would have to. So I was looking at it and then making sure everything was saturated so far. And then I went ahead and just dipped the entire thing in there. And so I'm still leaving it in the pot. And then I do have my laptop on the other side, so I was getting music because I was getting bored. And then I did go ahead and lift it up, and there are some spots in there in the frontal area that weren't covered. And be careful because this shit is scalding hot. And you want to make sure you take your comb and comb it all the way through. Even though it does sit in the pot and every strand does get covered, you do want to make sure it's evenly distributed through the wig. And so I was done with that color, so I did go ahead and put it down, and I started to open up the next color, which I believe was the intense red one. Nope, it was the wild cherry. So I did go ahead and squeeze that in and then did the same thing, mix it around. I did not change the water out. I just poured it in on top of the crimson. Tried the paper towel method again. And overall, every single time it did end up coming out some pink color on the paper towel. So I don't know what that was about. But then I did go ahead and take the intense red as well and put that in there with the wild cherry because they were both darker colors. And as you can see, the frontal part of this wig was like a pink color and the whole rest of it was red. But then once I did dip it in, it was a darker red, which is what I was going for. So I was lifting it up and dipping it down. And when I tell you guys, this shit was so hot. But then I got excited, so I started dancing because it ended up becoming the color that I did want. So I knew it was about to be lit once I was done. And at this point, I started getting impatient because I have no patience at all. And this was scalding hot, and I was over here touching it like an idiot. So I took it out, and then I ended up putting in more dye because I only used at first like almost half of the bottles of the intense red and the wild cherry. So I just wanted to get the most out of it. and I figured it was going to make it darker, but honestly it didn't, but it did help. And then I left it in there for, I want to say, mm, 7 minutes. And I lifted up that shirt. That's what I've been putting the hair on, and my counter was stained. So I would highly recommend putting down like newspaper, a towel, and a t-shirt just to make sure that you're not messing up your counter. But I'm doing the same thing again, and as you can see, it is getting darker. With this wig upside down, that should look thin as hell. But I'm just letting the wig sit in there, and then I was rinsing whatever off because I went to my sink, and it's coming out so good. Alright, so at this point, I'm still taking it out, checking the frontal to make sure everything is covered because earlier, like I said, there was some spots that weren't covered. So you just want to do the final look through, make sure that you're not missing anything because you'll be looking crazy with some fire red hair and then some blonde parts. And so just keep dipping, dipping, and checking. And the closer to the end it gets, the more impatient I am. But honestly, I don't know what happened to that paper towel test. I did have more water boiling because I was going to exchange the water each time, but I did go ahead and turn it off. You really only need to boil water once because it will last the entire time. You can literally see how impatient I am right now. But after this, I am about to take it out and take my gloves off, and I'll show you guys the final look.